And then we come into what I would say is the most difficult part of the song. This part does not stop. It changes times constantly, and you'll see what I mean once we get into it. So here comes the big kahuna. This section reminds me of a massive snake, a 2,000-foot long snake, an arachnoid, if you will. A segmented, centipedal type of beast that keeps forming and forming and forming and twisting and turning and never ending, because every time you take out one of its segments, it just grows back again. This is the type of thing we're dealing with here. I'm about to play the entire section all at once for you so you can see how it's done. So please, pay attention. So we're going to segment that centipede, that arachnoid that we're trying to conquer, into as many pieces as we need to until we get to the end of this. So let's start off with the very first little bit here. We play this 3 times. And that last measure of 9/8 comes in afterward. Now this section is a measure of 6/8 followed by 3/4. Now you can call the whole thing 12/8, but the feel changes on the second measure, so I decided to break it up in that way. Because you're kind of going like this. Triple and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5, 6, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? It's kind of like to be in America, right? It's the same type of breakdown, so I decided to split it up in that way. That first chord can be implied as a G major 7 with the G, F sharp, and the F sharp. And then we have a B, which is also indicative of the same chord. But then we move right into a C power chord. And then right into a B power chord. So we can think of this as G major 7, C, B. G, C, B. Okay? And then we work off the same chords on that next measure of 9/8. And you just stop it at the second fret of the A string. So the next part goes into a series of 5/8 and 7/8 alternating measures. So let's check that out. And we're sort of dealing with a, we're doing like an E minor chord, so G to B, F sharp to B to A, and then we're hitting it to C. So we're sort of playing around an E minor and a C chord. Now if you notice, earlier in the song, the 2 main chords that start off the whole thing are E minor and C. So this could be a little play on that they're bringing back. We do that twice. And then we head into this sort of C-Lydian spider type of exercise, because it kind of reminds me of a spider. And the chords that it's riffing off of are based on C, D, and B minor because of the note structure. Because you have a C, an A, a G, an E, an F sharp, a D, and a B. So all of those combined create a C major chord, a D major chord, and a B minor chord, all in the same thing, which actually creates a C-Lydian sound. So this is riffing off of C-Lydian. So after we riff around with those chords, we hit into this other section that sounds like this. So that's kind of a big bass note walk-up. So we start off with an F sharp, we scale up G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then F sharp. Alright, so we have a little bit of modal stuff going on here. So we start off on the F sharp, and we're going like this. with the first measure, F sharp to G. That's an octave going to a flat 9, and then an octave from a G going to a regular 9. And then for the measure of 7, you're going to A, which is a 6 flat 7 octave. Another measure of 5 with B, but this time it's like a B5 to a flat 6 chord. Then a C, measure of 7 on C with a Lydian sound, sharp 4, 5, 6. And then we're going up to D with a 4th, a 5th, up to E, a 4th, a 5th, and then to the next measure of 7, which is another Lydian sound, but this time on F. So you're on a flat 2 Neapolitan Lydian. Right, with the same motion that we had on the C. And then we go like this, chromatically, back to the F sharp. That outlines a Lydian on a C. Okay, even though we're not even playing a C. You're playing F sharp, E, F sharp, and B, which kind of outlines a C major 7 with a sharp 11. This whole entire section starts off low, moves into the middle of the guitar, and then gets higher. So we have a few more little bits here that are kind of like spider exercises, right? All 4 of our fingers are being used to traverse these notes. So we're starting on G, the perfect 5th. We'll assume this is all on C as well, more C Lydian stuff. Right there you have the G, the B, the F sharp, the C, and the A. So you have the 6th, the 7th, the root, the 5th, and the sharp 4 all in the same place, right? And then you eventually go to the E, and then root 2 and the 7th. So you basically hit every single note in the scale, but in a weird order, right? The second half of it follows the exact same sort of idea. Another spider type of thing. We have to use all 4 of our fingers. So this is just hitting the C right here, the A, back to the C, which is the root, and then G, F sharp. So we're playing around with those same chord notes as before. C major, D major, and B minor to create the C Lydian sound. This next part's probably the hardest part because you've already played all those notes prior. And now you got to keep playing notes that are even higher, and you have to be just as precise. And the note situation is very tricky. So let's check out what's going on here. We'll play the whole high section slowly. That last bend sucked. However, here's a little tip that's going to help you out. So, it's all about where your pointer finger is situated. So we're going to start here on this sort of E minor part, B minor arpeggio, and then this sort of like D7 or diminished type of thing. But I'm shifting my pointer finger onto the 10th fret immediately. Otherwise, I would never be able to play the next part with any type of ease. It would be very clunky, very clumsy. And then starting here, I'm going with this sort of like D pattern. So I'm on a D position. Double B, and then we hit right up here. That's sort of like another Lydian thing with the C major. Then we come up here. We have to do a big skip there. And then we move with our pointer up here. So you have to slide your pointer up again. And then, so the key is to understand where the double notes are, because the double notes are going to require you to slide your pointer finger in almost immediately. See that slide right there? Then we keep going. slide, you got to slide it up right there, and then you have to slide the pointer in to reach that high note as well. God damn, that was tough, but you stuck with me the entire time. I can't believe you did that. It doesn't seem possible, but you did it. You should give yourself a pat on the back. Drink yourself a beer. Drink yourself 2 beers. Drink yourself 3 beers. Drink yourself a whole 6-pack. Down an entire bottle of Wild Turkey right now to prove your manhood. I'm just kidding. Don't ever do that. I don't want to get banned off YouTube for obvious sarcasm. Alright? The robots can't detect that kind of stuff.